For decades, the digital economy has relied on one invisible promise: that the secrets protecting your money, your identity, and your nation's wealth cannot be broken. Every online payment, every stock trade, every international wire transfer, every encrypted message, every digital signature. They all depend on mathematical problems so difficult that even today's fastest supercomputers would need billions of years to solve them. But a new kind of machine is changing the rules. Not by becoming faster, but by computing differently. Quantum computing has the potential to crack many of today's public key encryption systems once it reaches sufficient scale and reliability. While that moment, often called Q-Day, has not arrived, governments and cybersecurity experts around the world are preparing now because the consequences could be enormous. If encryption fails before we replace it, trust itself could become the world's most valuable resource. This is quantum financial warfare. Every second, millions of financial transactions cross invisible highways connecting banks, stock exchanges, payment processors, and central banks across the world. Behind every transaction lies encryption. It is the silent guardian of the digital economy. When you log into your bank, encryption proves your identity. When governments move billions of dollars between central banks, encryption protects those instructions from interception. When businesses exchange confidential financial data, encryption keeps competitors and criminals locked out. Most of today's internet relies on public key cryptography such as RSA and elliptic curve cryptography. These systems work because certain mathematical problems are extraordinarily difficult for classical computers to solve. For decades, that assumption has been one of civilization's strongest digital foundations. Traditional computers think in bits. Every calculation is built upon ones and zeros. Quantum computers use something fundamentally different: qubits. Instead of existing only as 0 or 1, qubits can exist in combinations of states described by quantum mechanics. Combined with quantum effects such as entanglement, they enable new algorithms for specific problems. One of those algorithms, Shor's algorithm, theoretically allows a sufficiently powerful quantum computer to factor large numbers exponentially faster than classical computers. That matters because RSA encryption depends on factoring being practically impossible for ordinary computers. Today's quantum computers cannot yet break RSA 2048. But researchers around the world are racing toward larger, more fault-tolerant machines capable of tackling cryptographically relevant problems. Cybersecurity experts have a name for the moment a quantum computer can break widely used public key encryption: Q-Day. No one knows exactly when it will arrive. Some experts believe it could still be many years away. Others argue rapid advances could shorten the timeline. What everyone agrees on is that waiting until Q-Day arrives would be far too late. Replacing encryption across banks, governments, and critical infrastructure may take many years. Preparing after the crisis begins would already be too late. Perhaps the greatest danger isn't today's quantum computers. It's tomorrow's. Intelligence agencies and sophisticated cybercriminals can steal encrypted information today, store it, and simply wait. When quantum computers eventually become powerful enough, those archived secrets could be decrypted years after they were stolen. This strategy is known as harvest now, decrypt later. For governments, military plans, diplomatic communications, medical records, research, financial archives, and intellectual property, the countdown has already begun. Recognizing the quantum threat, governments have already begun replacing vulnerable encryption. In 2024, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology finalized the first major standards for post-quantum cryptography. These new algorithms are designed to resist attacks from both classical and future quantum computers. But replacing encryption isn't as simple as installing new software. Banks operate on decades-old systems. Payment networks connect millions of devices. Critical infrastructure depends on software written many years ago. This may become one of the largest cybersecurity upgrades in human history. Quantum computing is no longer just a scientific competition. It has become a geopolitical race. The United States, China, the European Union, Japan, India, and many other nations are investing billions into quantum technologies. The first country to achieve large-scale fault-tolerant quantum computing could gain extraordinary advantages in science, medicine, materials research, and potentially cybersecurity. That is why quantum technology is increasingly viewed as both an economic opportunity and a national security priority. The future of banking may not simply survive quantum computing. It may evolve because of it. Researchers are exploring quantum networks, quantum key distribution, more resilient digital identities, and entirely new methods of securing communications. At the same time, post-quantum cryptography will likely become the new foundation for global finance. The next generation of trust may combine advanced mathematics, artificial intelligence, and quantum technologies to build systems designed for a world where today's assumptions no longer apply. The world's financial system has not collapsed. Encryption has not yet failed. But history teaches one important lesson. Civilizations that prepare before a crisis often emerge stronger than those forced to react after disaster strikes. The transition to quantum-resistant security is already underway. Banks, governments, technology companies, and cybersecurity experts are racing against time. Because once Q-Day finally arrives, there may be no second chance to protect the digital foundations of modern civilization. The future of money may ultimately depend on one question. Can humanity reinvent trust before quantum computing reinvents the rules? The quantum revolution is no longer science fiction, it's a technological transition that is already reshaping cybersecurity, finance, and global strategy. While Q-Day has not arrived, the decisions made today will determine how securely the world enters the quantum era. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more cinematic deep dives into the technologies shaping our future, subscribe to Flying Art Films. New documentaries explore the frontiers of science, geopolitics, artificial intelligence, and the innovations transforming our world. The future isn't waiting. Neither should we.